Have you ever wondered why you should eat healthily? Today, I no longer ask myself this question. By eating healthily, you won't only live longer or look better. These are things that everyone knows, but you will also get a clearer mind, and very important, you will be way more happy. If you really eat healthy, you will definitely live a better life. And there is no reason to not live healthy. So in this video, I'm going to show you what you need to know in order to eat healthily. So let's start. Before we learn about nutrition, I will at first show you some basics, actually the basics of the basics that you should definitely not neglect and that you should do before you do the other things I'm going to show you below. Number one, I think you already know that you must drink enough water. I think you already know why you should drink much water, but it's very important to drink like 3 liters of water every day. Some people also recommend like 4 liters of water and some 2 liters of water, but 3 liters of water will be a good guideline for you. Of course, it depends on things like activity level or eating habits. Secondly, there are many people who not drink much water, but drink another liquid very often, and that's alcohol. Alcohol, of course, is very unhealthy. There is no amount of alcohol that's okay. So you should decrease your alcohol consume to a minimum, and the best would be to eliminate alcohol completely from your diet. And this also applies to nicotine, so you should also decrease smoking to a minimum. At first, I want to tell you a short story. So this is Tom, okay? And Tom, you can see he is very obese and he wants to change that. So he goes every day to the gym and runs on the treadmill. But there's a problem. He's doing that for years and haven't made any progress. Why is that? So normally, without sports, Tom burns 3000 calories. But by running, he burns additionally 1000 calories. So overall, he burns 4000 calories per day. But he also eats 5000 calories a day. So he eats as much as he burns because due to sports, he has much more hunger. And because of that, his body tells him to eat more, and that's good because your body wants always to have enough energy. So he won't burn any more. So your body doesn't have to touch your emergency reserves. Okay, so how can he solve this problem? So he of course needs to be in a caloric deficit. That means that if he, for example, burns 4000 calories, he should eat 3500 calories, so his body will need to use his fat. And to know if he's in a caloric deficit or not, he of course needs to know his daily energy need. So go to Google and search for something like calculate calorie consumption, and you will get to a calculator where you can calculate your daily energy needs. If you want to lose weight, you should aim for 300 to 500 calories under that number. If you want to gain weight, I recommend you to eat 300 to 500 calories above that number. Then you of course need to know whether you are in a caloric deficit or not. In order to know that, you need to track your calories. So download a calorie tracker app, and there you can enter your daily energy needs, and then you can track what you are eating and whether you are in a caloric deficit or not. And this of course also applies to a caloric surplus, where you eat more than you need. And you should not only track your daily calories, but you should also track your macronutrients. These are proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. For protein, I would recommend you to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if you weigh like 160 pounds, you should eat 160 grams of protein per day. Carbohydrates and fats are not that important, but I would recommend you to eat many carbohydrates, so your glycogen levels in the training are high enough so you can perform at your best. So 50% of your calories should come from carbohydrates. So you divide your calories by 8, and this is your recommended amount of carbohydrates per day. And fat should be the rest. But of course, fat is very, very important and should definitely not be neglected or even demonized. And if the rest you have left for fat is very small, you can of course shrink protein or carbohydrates down so you won't get too little fat. I would also recommend you to track your micronutrients. This is something that very few people do, but your micronutrients are very important for your health. So you should inform yourself about what the optimal level for each micronutrient is. And most calorie trackers don't show you your micronutrients. So I personally would recommend you to track your calories with Chronometer, because this app shows you your micronutrients. But that's not a sponsorship. You can of course use any calorie tracker you want, but with Chronometer you can also see your micronutrients. And you can eat healthily but still have lacks in some vitamins or minerals. So in my opinion, you should also track your micronutrients. So this chapter is called healthy versus unhealthy foods. But in my opinion, you should definitely not divide foods in healthy and unhealthy. Instead, you should look at the nutrients this food has. For example, if you look at an apple, you may think it's very healthy, and it is healthy if you want to say that. But let's look at the nutrients. An apple is very nutrients dense, but in comparison to other fruits, it's not that nutrient dense. An apple has very good amounts of secondary plant compounds, but not that many vitamins or minerals. In addition to that, an apple contains high amounts of sugar, what nearly every fruit has. But if you look at, for example, an egg, it has very low amounts of sugar because it has no sugar. And the egg is also nearly the most nutrient dense food on the planet. So it has high amounts of vitamins and minerals, etc. It also has choline, which is very important for your brain, and nearly no other food than the egg gives you choline. The fat in the egg is also very good. Very important, it also has high amounts of protein, and the egg has also much fat. And because of that, it has many calories. So for gaining weight, eggs are very good. And for losing fat, it's not that good to eat like 6 eggs a day, but you should definitely eat eggs every day, no matter if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to gain weight. I personally eat 3 to 6 eggs a day, and this is something you should definitely also do. But if you analyze a chocolate bar, you will see that it is very unhealthy, if you want to say that. It is definitely not nutrient dense, and it has of course high amounts of sugar. And the calories are also very high, and a chocolate bar has many substances in it that are not good for your body. Okay, this is you, and you are a normal person. You probably have a refrigerator or something like that, and you have unlimited access to food. And the body of this human who tries to kill a rabbit is the same as yours, and your body thinks you don't have unlimited access to food, and so on. So the body of a human from Stone Age has no big difference from your body. And this also applies to your nutrition. Your body is used to the nutrition it had in the nature. Does this mean that everything you won't get from the nature is bad for you? Of course not. There are many things that are healthy for you, but you won't get them in the nature. For example, supplements. And processing is not necessarily bad. For example, you cook your food, so harmful substances in your food will be destroyed. But highly processed foods are generally bad for you, because at least one processing will be definitely bad for you. For example, the nitrites in your sausage will cause cancer. So it is not the processing itself that's bad for you, but how and with what substances it has been processed. So I would recommend you to eat as unprocessed as possible. There are many substances that are not bad for you, but there are also many substances you should not eat because your body won't tolerate it well. So now we have covered the most important things for good nutrition. In the following chapters, we are going to discuss some foods and apply the things we have learned. In this chapter, we will discuss something that in my drawing looks like bread, but it isn't bread, it's meat. It should be a steak. I think if I do this red, it will be better. So, we will discuss meat and fish in this chapter, and in particular, meat is very demonized, especially from people that are vegan or vegetarians because of either morality or environmental protection, but not because of health. Because meat and fish are very, very important for your health, and omitting meat or fish from your diet because of health is definitely a bad decision. Humans have always consumed meat and fish, and your body is used to it. And objectively you can say that both are very nutrient dense. Both deliver a high amount of vitamins and minerals, high quality proteins, and fish has omega-3 fatty acids that are extremely important for a good brain and heart health. And many people say that meat, and especially red meat, is very unhealthy for you. But you can't make such a sweeping statement. Very often a high quality chicken breast or steak is compared to a sausage. And for meat it depends on a few factors whether it's healthy or unhealthy. The most important one is processing. We have discussed that in an earlier chapter, but it's of course very important. You can't compare a non-processed meat with a sausage. The quality of your meat is also very important. A meat from factory farming will definitely be less healthy than a high quality meat. In this chapter we will analyze two more animalistic products, namely the egg and the milk. I told you before much about the egg, but let's refresh that. So the egg has many micronutrients. It's very nutrient dense. It has an enormous amount of high quality protein, and the fats of the egg are also very good. But it has high amount of fats, and because of that it also has a high amount of calories. So for gaining weight, eggs are perfect. And if your goal is to lose weight, you should also include eggs into your diet, mainly because of the nutrients in that egg, but also because the protein in the egg saturates you. And it's very important to lose fat instead of muscle mass. So we earlier learned that we should not divide food in healthy and unhealthy, but for the egg, there's nearly nothing that speaks to the fact that it is unhealthy. So for the egg, I would say it's very healthy, if you want to say it like that. But milk is a little bit different. Here you can see that it definitely makes no sense dividing foods in healthy and unhealthy, but you should analyze the nutrients. At first you have to say that milk has a high amount of lactose, which is sugar. So it has high amounts of sugar and leads to a higher blood sugar increase, which is bad. And most people consume too much sugar, so milk will make it even worse. The fat in the milk is also not very good. It's also not very nutrient dense, but it has some important nutrients like calcium. For example, I learned recently that my water that I drink every day has 555 milligrams of calcium per liter. So if I drink enough water, I will also consume enough calcium. So I would highly recommend you to drink mineral-rich water. That's a real game changer. But to return to the milk. Milk is of course very calorie dense because it is liquid and it won't saturate you very much. And because of that, in my opinion, milk only makes sense if you're trying to gain weight. And if you drink milk in moderate amounts, you can gain weight much easier. But for losing weight, drinking milk is not a very smart idea unless you really like it. Additionally, the milk has hormones that the cow gives her calf, and these hormones are not bad for you, okay? But they can cause acne because they can confuse your hormone system. So if you have acne, you should observe if the milk is the cause for that. So in the last chapter where we analyze food, let's talk about 2 plant-based food groups. So nobody can accuse me of promoting the carnivore diet or something like that. We have fruits and vegetables, and both are very healthy, if you want to say that. That's something that nearly everybody knows. For the fruits, you have to say that they are most likely very nutrient dense, but they also have high amounts of sugar. You don't have to worry about the sugar in the fruit. Humans have always eaten fruits, and only because they contain sugar, it doesn't mean that you should not eat them. I would recommend you to eat like 2 portions of fruits per day. 1 portion is, for example, an apple or a banana. If I'm trying to gain weight, for example, I eat like 3, 4 or even 5 portions of fruits every day. And you don't have to worry about the sugar in fruits unless you eat high amounts of, for example, milk chocolate. Vegetables also contain high amounts of nutrients, but they are way less calorie dense than fruits. And they also contain nearly no sugar. And both fruits and vegetables contain high amounts of secondary plant compounds that you won't get from, for example, meat or eggs. So it's very important to include fruits and vegetables in your diet. For vegetables, I would recommend you to eat 3 portions of vegetables per day, but it should depend on your nutrients. For example, you can eat no vegetables and even though achieve optimal health because you have covered all your nutrients from fruits and meat and eggs and so on. Okay, so we have covered a few foods, but of course not everything. But I think it's clear now. At first you should cover your nutrients in an optimal way. You should eat in a caloric deficit, on maintenance calories or in a caloric surplus depending on your goals. And of course you should not eat shit. Now you can inspect things like bread or nuts and look if you should eat them or not. And you have learned many new things in this video, but it won't do you any good unless you don't implement the tips I have given you in this video. So start today and you will thank yourself in the future. If you have enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe my channel.